Now, one of the things that I wanted to discuss, I did wanted to talk about the differences between the jury vote and the televote, but something just came up, well, not today, but yesterday, about the jury vote from the Belarusian broadcaster. Now, Belarus was disqualified by the EBU for violating the rules. They were not allowed to discuss the results or the rankings that they gave before the final or before the end of the show, essentially. So when it was leaked that they were discussing this with outside parties, the EVU decided to not count. So what they did was the EVU and Ernst& Young created a ranking in which provided points to a certain amount of countries. Now, one of the stuff that a lot of people were waiting for was to say 12 points go to Russia, which is a tradition for Belarus. However, the 12 points actually went to Israel. And then Estonia, Germany, Norway, Spain, the UK, San Marino, Serbia, Iceland, and Australia got a certain amount of points. Now, based on what the EBU usually does, this usually works is the EBU divides the country in certain pots. So countries that pretty much rank or vote for a similar and vote for each other in a similar way. So these happen to be Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Russia. Now the calculation based on Euro underscore Bruno, a Eurovision fan, he said, "Guys, I was just here over analyzing last night's Eurovision results, and I think I just found out how the very weird Belarusian jury were made. Here's a whole thread explaining the process." So what exactly I try to do? I saw that the countries who have allocated into the same pot as Belarus were Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Russia. Thus, I made an average out of all these countries' jury rankings to see how the Belarusian jury results should have been. What did I find out? So, after averaging all the rankings provided from Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Russia, I discovered that the points that the top 10 that aggregated for Belarus jury results were formed by the countries who came from the bottom 10 with the average results from those four countries. So essentially, instead of ranking the top 10, they seem to have ranked the bottom 10. Now, this was caught by the attention of the EBU, and the EBU gave a new statement stating the EBU can confirm following standard review practices, we have discovered that due to human error, an incorrect aggregated result was used. This had no impact on the calculations of the points derived from the televoting across the 41 participating countries, and the overall winner and top four songs of the contest remain unchanged. That means that the Netherlands, Italy, Russia, and Switzerland keep their rankings, even though they actually do get some points. To respect both the artists and EVU members which took part, we wish to correct the final result in accordance with the rules. The correct jury points have now been added to the scoreboard, and the revised totals for each participating country broadcaster and their country have been published on the Eurovision.tv. So this essentially changes completely the ranking, and we're gonna basically talk about this right now. The Netherlands gets a total of 6 points more, so their win doesn't change. However, they do win with 498 points. Italy now gets 7 more points, so their second place ranks them with a total of 472 points. Russia gets 1 more point. Instead of 369, they win officially with 370. Switzerland now gets an additional 4 points, and they basically finish with 364 points. Now, here's where things start to change. Sweden gets an additional 2 points, and they get one more placement up. However, Norway, who originally ranked 5th place, gets deducted a total of 7 points, ranking 6th place, so they lost a place. North Macedonia actually gets 10 more points. Now, their overall ranking gives them one more placement. However, this 10 additional points makes North Macedonia win the jury vote, which I think is actually amazing. Tamara Tadevska definitely deserves it, and she should be proud. Azerbaijan only gets 5 points, making them lose their placement. So they originally were seventh and now they're eighth. Australia loses 1 point and they keep their ninth place. Iceland loses 2 points, but they still keep their 10th place. Czech Republic, Denmark don't have any changes. But then Cyprus, they earn a total of 8 points and they actually earn two more places. Malta earns 12 points and they get two more places. Additionally, Albania earns one more place, and Slovenia and France lose 2 places. So they go down to 15th and 16th when they were both in 13th and 14th. Serbia loses the 3 points, so they lose a place back to now to 18th place. And San Marino loses the 4 points, but they still are able to gain one more placement since Estonia loses their 10 points and they lose the placement to 20th. Now, Greece earns 3 more points, but they don't really lose anything. They pretty much stay the same. Spain loses the 6 points, but they also stay the same. Israel loses this 12 points, making Israel also be another country to earn a total of 0 points during their performance, which is such an unfortunate situation because Israel definitely did an amazing job at hosting and being the host entry. Kobe sang his heart out for his country, in his country, and the end pretty much wasn't really, it didn't reflect with the juries at all. But his placement doesn't change, which is good. He just loses points. Now, here's another difference. Since Germany loses 8 points, Belarus actually earns another placement to 24th. So Germany loses its place and they now rank 25th, with the United Kingdom losing its 5 points, but they still rank last. Now, what do you think about the situation? Should the EBU be more careful? And should there be more stricter rules upon the juries? The juries have gotten a lot of backlash in this contest, mainly because of the difference between first and second place not being in the actual first and second in neither juries or votes. I believe if we can see, the Netherlands actually did rank second in the televote, but not in the jury. They ranked third. But just because they were in the top three, they were the only country that shared the top three in both the televote and the jury. They ended up being the winner. Norway was the people's choice. However, they ended up ranking sixth, with North Macedonia being the jury's choice for the winner, only ranking seventh as a total, just because of the different rankings that the other countries got in the other votes. So tell me, should we get rid of the juries? Should we be more stricter on the juries? This definitely is not on the EBU. It's more on the procedures and not checking the correct controls for Ernst & Young. They did apologize based on the statement made by the EBU. And luckily, this was clarified to the countries because they definitely deserve more. However, they should have definitely been more careful, although it would have been kind of sad to see Israel not cheer for 12 points. It definitely was still a celebratory that was taken away from Malta. She definitely deserved at least one 12-point victory dance. Anyway, I hope that you guys liked the video.